Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peaks that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Well, grand rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I get to welcome you to a fun-filled, fantastic Friday. Really excited for my guest who's in the building, Kendra Liddell, the Community Engagement Coordinator for the Central District Community Development and Preservation Authority. I got it in there. It's the CDCPDA, y'all, and she's going to be telling us about her journey into organizing, as well as a phenomenal event they have coming up pretty soon. So now is your chance to make sure you get all the insights so you could be there. But of course, I'm always glad that you are here right now. You'll be here. Thank you so much for joining us. And this is the perfect time at the top of the show to share the show with others who you feel could benefit from our daily dose of dopeness we give you here on The Day with Trae. And as always, if you can't watch our TV show, y'all know we got you covered. You can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. Y'all will find us there. Well, before I get into it with Kendra, on this fun-filled Friday, I gotta say, it has been such a joy to be building intentional relationships with my children. And as a mother, you know, my two sons, they're 8 years apart. So my oldest son, Amiri, he helped with my youngest son, Ajani. But the relationships that we've been able to build, you know, it's different than just parenting them, right? Because there's a relationship there. But when you're intentional about the time you spend and the conversations you're having with young people in your life, truly you're understanding what values really resonate with them, what is important to them, what makes them laugh and brings them joy. And it's great for me because it is so infectious, right? So I'm ecstatic that my sons are turning out to be phenomenal young men. And I would say it's not just about me or the, you know, amazing lessons their father instilled in them, but it's also about who they are internally and being able to truly water those plants of young people in our lives to understand who they are and who they want to be, and giving them the world to say, explore, learn more. Try this, try that. It's okay if you don't like it, but try things. You know, it's interesting too, because I realize that that is truly a privilege. Every young person doesn't have the opportunity or, you know, maybe the pathway to try things that they want to. And so when you have young people in your lives and you can open up doors for them, give them encouragement to try new things or to explore the unknown, it's so important that they do that at a young age, because it truly helps them shape up who they're going to be as adults. And if they are living long enough, they're going to be adults longer than they are children. So it's important that we get them geared up to understand where their brilliance lies so they can truly flourish as an adult. And it's been great because I'm telling you, both of my kids, you know, one now who's 19, the other one is 11. So I'm seeing my 19-year-old, you know, gravitate to things that really matter to him, finding joy in things that he loves to do, with hobbies or time with friends or time with his son and his girlfriend. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch him flourish as an adult, but it's also really special to watch my young one find his own way as he's getting prepared for middle school, y'all. Eek, right? There's such a transition there, but I really want to say to anyone out there who has young people in your life, whether you're a parent by birth or by choice, I just say this. You know, being intentional about the time we spend is vital in these young people's lives. And if you're someone who has so much to give, but maybe you don't have young people in your life, I encourage you to volunteer at schools, phenomenal organizations where you can impart your wisdom into young folks, because truly our world becomes better when they have amazing examples around them. So I'm just loving it right now on this fun-filled Friday. And in my head, I'm like, this is a family Friday because me and my son are going to have a good time watching some movies. And that's what really is the impetus for me to share this message with y'all this morning. Well, after this short break, coming up next, we got Kendra Liddell in the building, y'all. We're going to be talking all about the CDCPDA, y'all, and her role as she is connecting with communities to make sure they know the work that's happening over there at the amazing organization keeping the Central District preserved. Y'all don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
My hair is definitely unique in the rodeo industry, and not a lot of girls wear their natural hairstyle. And since I do, it makes it a lot harder to find equipment that fits my head the right way. When I speak about being unique, that's what I mean is why should we have to change our hairstyle for safety maybe? Why can't they create something for us to be ourselves in and still be safe on the trails? You don't have to change the way you look because you're beautiful the way you are.
Here on Back to Besa, it's always been important to me that we uplift stories from across the region and that no matter where you live in the nation, you never have to miss a moment of the show as we continue to highlight the beauty, excellence, and resilience of our communities across the Pacific Northwest. Why? Because representation matters. So no matter where you live, be it the Central District or Centralia, Portland or Pullman, or anywhere across the country, I encourage you to join me on this Back to Besa journey by downloading the free Fox Local app on your phone or smart TV as we continue to elevate the very best in our communities. Empowering the community one connection at a time. ConnectWA is your partner in finding the support you need. Download the app today and experience the difference that a connected community can make. Learn more at eec-wa.org/connectwa-app.
Welcome back, y'all, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now, we got Kendra in the building. What's up, Kendra?
Hey, Trae.
How are you?
I'm doing well, can't complain. How are you?
I'm good. It's so great to have you here.
I'm honored.
You know, Kendra, you are always doing phenomenal things in the community, and I was so glad to hear that you brought your brilliance to the CDCPDA and the great work y'all are doing there. Now, tell us a bit about your organizing background because I met you organizing. You were already in the thick of it. Tell me about how you kind of got started there, bringing your brilliance into community.
Yeah, so I've always had a passion to serve. That's just who I am. I'm a servant leader. I would attend events and I would always notice where there were kind of gaps in the support that could be needed. And so I figured the best place for me would be behind the scenes. So I found my way getting connected with folks, asking how can I help when volunteer opportunities were presented. I would always sign up, I would always show up, and that allowed me the opportunity to expand my network, meet a lot of amazing people, and really find out more about what was going on in community. I feel like when you serve, then folks call on you a lot more, especially when you have those skills that they're looking for to keep the flow. You're pleasant, friendly, and my background professionally is in community service, and so I just feel like those were transferable skills that I could bring into this work in community by volunteering and serving and making sure that these events go smooth as possible.
Yeah, well, I'll say, like, that's how I first met you. I was like, oh man, you already were like wrangling all the things, all the details and all the folks. And it's beautiful because it's so necessary in community. And oftentimes people don't realize how much, organizing is happening, especially in the terms of servitude. So I love that, what you're talking about, being in service, leading with that servant heart. And so you've been doing that for a really long time and people got to know you. And so tell us a bit about your beginnings when you said, you know what, let me try to see what's up with the CDCPDA.
Yeah, well, it happened naturally. So as you know, our CEO is Sade Moore, and I met her in community through volunteering, and we met about 10 years ago now at a community meeting where they were having conversations about what's coming next to the Central District and ways that people can get involved. And she brought me into the fold for the MLK Organizing Coalition, planning the MLK Day March and Rally, which I still support. And then fast forward as our work continued to overlap in community, from me working with TAF and her serving on the board. I was invited to join the board at the CDCPDA back in January of 2024. And just a few months after that, I realized the skills that I bring would be better served on the forefront. At that time, there wasn't an opportunity for that to happen for me. And then they opened a position for community engagement coordinator, and no one was even thinking of me. No one was thinking of me. And so I was like, I'm looking and I'm reading the job description, and I realized like this is the work that I am born to do. You know, building relationships. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. I'm not afraid to talk about anything that I'm passionate about. And so from there, I went through a pretty vigorous interviewing process, making that transition from the board into a staff position. And it's been going up ever since then. It feels like second nature to me, whether it's during business hours or after business hours. I'm always talking to people about this work, making new connections for reviving that space and bringing people in and just letting them know that the doors are open and that there's opportunities for more partnership.
Well, yeah, because I mean, y'all are out of the former Seattle Vocational Institute building.
Exactly.
And I know that there's a lot of work that's been done in community to, you know, begin to explore new design for that space. What could this really be in our community? What is lacking? How could this fill the void?
Absolutely.
So y'all been doing some work in that area. And I know that was one of the first projects that I actually contributed to when I came in back into community in 2017. So this work has been long standing because we understood that there was a need to, you know, create community space, a hub essentially in our community. So I'm glad that this work is continuing. And you definitely are the right fit for the role.
Thank
and so
you.
I love that you're bringing your joy and passion to this work because that's what it takes. And you said something that I think is so vital for so many of our organizations. It is beyond a 9-to-5. And what is so interesting is as our organizations grow and they have to fill roles, we end up sometimes with folks who kind of don't have that understanding, right? Like, oh, I'm good at admin, but that's what I do. And I do it 9-to-5 for this org. But it's like, it's also needed in all of these other realms when we're talking about connecting with community in the evenings or being present at other community gatherings and spaces. So how do you see your natural kind of involvement in community creating that synergy so that people know not only are you there at the CDCPDA, but you also are still just like a community member with love for this community being present elsewhere? Yeah,
I'm a connector. Like I'm always taking in information. I'm always meeting people. I remember earlier on in my volunteer career or experience, I would sign up for all these email newsletters and I would get emails on emails, job offerings and things that really didn't pertain to me. And I would just delete them and go on about my business. And I realized there's something more that can be done with this. So I created a social media or a page on Instagram called Miss Publicity, where I was able to repost a lot of those opportunities, even though they weren't necessarily ones for me at the time, but I was able to take those emails, screenshot them, post them, put them on my story, send them out to people, because obviously I can't always remember who wanted to know about what, but people all the time are like, let me know when things are going on. And so I pride myself on being a connector, on really caring about what people talk about, whether it's something me and my family can participate in or not. I know that someone within so many degrees of separation from me can take advantage of it. And that really has been a driving force for me. And I continue to do that, whether I'm posting or I'm just talking to someone in a coffee shop, or they might pop up in mind and I send them a text and say, hey, are you interested in this? Or please share it. And so that is where the foundation was set. And so I just carry that on day to day. And I listen to people, right? And when you listen and you actually care about what they're saying to you, that will stay with you. And so when something else comes up and it'll remind you of like, oh, I remember Trae asked about this for her son. Let me make sure she gets this information. And so from there, it just continues on. And that's exactly what I do in my role as community engagement coordinator, is connecting. It might be specifically to the CDCPDA for the most part, but there's so many other parts of my life where I also serve and I work with young ladies, and there are opportunities that they can benefit from that I may not be facilitating, but I'm finding out about through my work.
Well, I'll say I'm just grateful to be a part of your network, girl, because you do that really well. And it's beautiful to be in community with like-minded folks, or as Monica Bibi told me, it's of like mind. So being around people of like mind and having that type of synergy in our community, because it's so so necessary. And I think about right now, the times we're in, the need for us to kind of double down on our efforts to organize in community and to come together and connect on these vital issues that matter to all of us, right? And of course, there's people who would drop off or whatever, but you have this core team that's like, nah, man, this is important to us. We need to figure this out. And I love that organizing has a way of doing that. So I'm so glad you're in this role. But y'all also have this amazing opportunity for folks to be engaged at this event coming up. Tell us more.
We do. So on April 19th, it's a Saturday, we will be having our Springing Forward Brunch for Black Economic Brilliance. It is our first inaugural event. And so, as you know, in community, there are a lot of opportunities for funding, but the most sustainable funding is through community support. So businesses, individuals, major key stakeholders that have connections in their expansion of their network as well, that can support grassroots organizations to keep them going beyond some of the feelings of what is happening now politically, right? And so we're not scrambling per se, because we're already doing that work by having these type of events. So we'll be having our benefit brunch. It'll be at the Amazon Frontier from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have phenomenal MC Chardonnay Beaver and Deontay Damper to bring all of the energy and just the tie to why this work is so important, for community as a whole. And we have catering from Dale Sense, and we have amazing sponsors like the Urban League and Bird Bar Place and Amazon Black Employee Network that are really standing behind what we are doing and to push our mission forward. And we have some great raffle prizes from Alaska Airlines and an experience from Seattle Rain, as well as the opportunity to attend a Sounders match that same evening for free for all of our registrants, right? So through our partnerships and community, we've been able to pull whoever we can from our network to get behind this event. And really beyond that, it's about getting the information out to community, because a lot of times people are like, oh, I drive by that building, I'm wondering what's going on with SVI. They don't know that we're open Monday through Friday and that we have tenants there serving community all throughout the day, even sometimes in the evening and on the weekend. And so this event will be an opportunity, in a sense, a community gathering for folks to come in, find out more information about a little bit about the past, but more so about the present and the future mission and vision of this work and why it's so important. And the fact that there's collective ownership from community, collective input that we are striving for from community, to make sure that is a reflection of what we need and want. And more importantly, that there is sustainability for the next 50 years.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so necessary, right? When we think about the critical nature of our spaces that truly are rooted in, cultural legacy, it's important,
Absolutely.
and I love that mindset of, the next 50 years. Like, how do we ensure sustainability? So thank you for all the work you're doing. Of course, if people are trying to tap in, stay connected with y'all, make sure that they're at all y'all events or signing up for newsletters or other announcements, look right there and let them know how they stay tapped in.
Yeah, so you all can follow us on social media. Our Facebook and LinkedIn pages can be found at Central District Community Preservation and Development Authority. And on Instagram, we are at CDCPDA. And you'll find information about our upcoming benefit brunch, as well as future workshops that we have coming free for community.
Wow. Kendra, thanks for the work you're doing. So glad you're here. Anytime you got an update, just come on by.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Wow, y'all. What a great way to wrap up this phenomenal week. Of course, I'm going to wrap it all up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Town Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project. It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africatown Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africatown Plaza is a love letter to the community.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Himani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client discussing their fields and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Himani here. See you guys in a few.
You on my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You seem like the barging down. Got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up. Break you in, then break you out. In the end, we gon' make a child. Then we gon' hit the show. Part 2, we don't need no pause. You miss me, we gon' get tipsy. Don't need a power shot.
Copy my steel. Face the fact that. Copy my steel. Face the fact that.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Huge shout out to my guest, Kendra, for being here and shedding her passion, love, and light on this community through not only the CDCPDA, but also her commitment to ensuring that community engagement and organizing is at the forefront of our community. It is so necessary and vital. And she really is such an example, an inspiring example of what it means to put community in the forefront of your life. And for those of you who have been maybe trying to figure out, where are my people? How do I tap in? She just gave you a phenomenal example in her story of volunteering. Volunteering gets you into community, gets you connected with folks, gets you plugged in ways that allow you to utilize your energy and your efforts and your resources to ensuring that our community grassroots organizations continue to thrive and be sustainable in our communities. We know how necessary they are. And so I'm just encouraging you all now to be inspired in the story that she shared with you, and also make sure you're getting your tickets and tapping in to the phenomenal event they have coming up in just a few short days here, y'all, because next Saturday, April 19th, is when it's all kicking off at the Amazon Frontier. So make sure y'all tap in with the CDCPDA and also be inspired to be a part of the solution, as Miss Kendra has shown us that she is. We need you out here in this community, bringing your brilliance to keep our work sustained throughout the years. Thanks so much for watching and joining me this week, y'all. Y'all know I'll be back with y'all next week. Until Monday at 11 a.m., y'all. Peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.